Welcome back to another episode of the Panther Sports Zone. It is April the 3rd, 2019. I'm David Smith.
I'm Zach Collins.
And I'm David Killing.
Obviously, we had a special show yesterday with the legendary
Larry Johnson.
unanimous All-American.
Two-time All-Pro, two-time Pro Bowler. He led the league in rushing. He had 20 touchdowns one year, 17 touchdowns the next.
And one of the coldest backs to play on Madden.
On Madden 07,
It was
NFL
cold.
Street 3.
Yeah.
We definitely talking about somebody that was very prevalent in our childhood.
Yeah, they need to bring Street back
Yeah, they do.
for sure.
Sure.
Street and NCAA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, NCAA first. Yeah. What was one of the biggest takeaways you got from that before we started?
The takeaway I got the most was just finding out that my football career just ended, obviously.
Right.
And I feel like I need to figure out what I was doing, and I felt like I wasn't figuring out fast enough. Well, he's been out the league since 2011, and he said he really didn't find himself until 2016, 2017, and that made me feel better about myself. Later on in the day, I got to interview Tommy Harris, and he told me the same thing. He said his career ended around the same time as Larry's, and he was just telling me that he still hasn't figured out who he is outside of football, but he just knows his who he is as a person isn't wrapped up in football. So that was something where I learned, like, I can't rush this process. Like, whatever I find to fill that gap, it'll come eventually. I just have to get there.
All right, that's kind of similar to what I had taken away because he was just talking about it's more than what we're at right now. You just got to trust the process and believe and keep faith. And obviously, God has something bigger for you in store. We just don't know it.
Exactly.
Right. Always look for the bigger picture.
And I also like picking their brains to see how did they get that far.
Right.
And for him to say, like, his dad was a coach at Penn State, like his family was all engulfed in his career, that ultimately helped him. And then we talked about the troubles he had because we all know how we've been feeling like the last week. So it's just how he was dealing with that. And he told me honestly what he was going through and how he coped with everything and where he's at now mentally. So just to see the growth from his career from college to pro and then his career ending the way it did, and for him to be able to finally find himself and not end up dead while doing all that process, that's something that I definitely take away.
All right. Now on to baseball. They played Texas A&M Corpus Christi at Corpus Christi and unfortunately lost 8-5. It was a 0-0 game all the way to the 6th inning. Then they put 2 on the board in the 6th inning.
Corpus Christi?
Yeah. Then it just went.
It was off as a show from then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we're just 1-10 away. Obviously, we play at home
What's
today.
our overall record?
Yeah.
A lot to a little, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Something like that. But we have a chance to change that. We play Houston Victoria today at 2. Obviously, we're a lot better at home. We can redeem ourselves from when we lost to them last time, walk-off homer.
Oh, so this is going to be a competitive game, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got like 2 draft prospects.
Victoria?
Yeah. Shortstop, cold. I ain't gonna lie to
Who's
you.
the other prospect?
Dude hit a walk-off. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to watch. Make sure you guys come out at 2 if you're not busy. Always show support to all our teams.
Yeah, you should be hump dayed out by then.
Exactly.
Yeah. You got a day party too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Today is jam-packed. And I got to work from 4 to 9, so
Dang.
as
Then
soon
you
as,
got
as soon as I get out of there, you know where I'm going. So
Yeah.
we good.
Also, softball plays today here. From first game's at 1, second game's at 3. Good game.
Yeah. I think it'll be a good game. For
Who do they
real.
play?
Texas A&M, Corpus Christi.
Okay.
I mean, Christie.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game
Back to
for
back.
real, especially the season that they are having. They just got to keep on doing what they're doing. It's obviously working. So, hats off to the softball girls on what they're doing right now. But go ahead, you got something to say?
Basically, I just hope we find our pitcher early.
Yeah.
Because as me and Seville was talking, I just butchered his name, but it's okay. Me and was talking. We couldn't really find a pitcher last home game, and that's what really hurt us because we're deep into our bullpen by the 3rd inning because we had already played all 3 pitchers. So that was something that really hurt us, and I think that's what set us back against SFA. So now being back home, hopefully they've calmed down now. They got their home opener out the way, and now they're ready to just play softball and ultimately do what they've been doing to the SWAC, to whoever they play
Do
today.
you think they win the SWAC again?
Very much so.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
PV will be up there too if they have pitching.
We have hitters?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just,
Is that what you're going to be, a pitcher?
heck no. Is that what you're going to do, Cyril? Pitcher? No. None for that. None for that at all.
Okay.
Yeah. When we come back, we got some interesting news in Washington. Bryce Harper return wasn't a good return. Obviously, March Madness is still going on. Shout out to Russell for the 2020.
Yes, sir.
Rest in peace, Nipsey. We'll be right back from the Panther Sports Zone.
Traditions are not made overnight. They are created through a legacy of excellence and a commitment to something much greater. For more than 135 years, Prairie View A&M University has provided students with a strong academic foundation, a unique college experience, and the opportunity to make their mark on the world. This is a place where friendships are formed, discoveries are made, and dreams are realized. This is Prairie View A&M University. Our tradition, your opportunity.
Welcome back to the Panther Sports Zone. Obviously, Bryce Harper is now with the Phillies, off to a hot start, undefeated still. Returned to Washington last night. Got booed though, unfortunately. I thought he would have been respected. You know, he's done a lot for that team, done a lot for the franchise. Not the same.
Were you the one that said he was overrated?
Nah, that was Cyril.
Okay. This one's
that
make sure.
right there. That was Cyril.
I forgot it was negative Nancy.
Yeah.
My fault. But is that something that happens a lot in baseball?
I mean, that happens a lot in sports in general.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm
like-
talking about, baseball. I didn't know if there was
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
because you play
it
so many
depends,
games, like
yeah.
he's gonna be there in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
a number of times, so it's gonna take
I guess he's gonna get booed.
an
a number
immense
of
amount of
times,
energy
too.
to just boo him
Yeah,
every time he
exactly.
comes there. That's kind
I
of
mean, they
pointless.
weren't winning though, so you gotta do what's best for you.
Right.
So do you see his move as KD-ish?
Nah,
Why not?
because the Phillies are building up. It's different in baseball. You got
So
the,
it's more like when LeBron went to the Heat.
yeah.
Okay.
No, because the Phillies are already building, like with prospects and stuff. So it's not like they're just top players in the league right now. They
Mhm.
just happen to get a name for themselves right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Russell Wilson now reported to camp, even without the contract talk. I mean, even without signing a new contract, which brought me to,
He did report, or he did.
well, he will.
He gave them a date till the 15th.
Yeah,
Okay.
but he's gonna be there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, should NFL players, report, even though if you love the game so much, should you should you still report?
No,
No?
I'm not reporting, especially not somebody that's in his. One, Seahawks have a pedigree of not paying anybody the money they deserve. Look at Richard. You look at
Right.
Sean.
That's the reason why
I mean,
their
not
defense
Sean.
left. Majority of their
Yes.
defense left
Uh,
from Legion of Boom. So go ahead, continue.
So for them to not be able to secure him, with him being their franchise quarterback, with him being somebody that they've leaned on, I would say post 2015, which is like the last 4 years, that's been the prime of his career. So for them to not go ahead and ink his deal to get, I would say probably break the quarterback market and reset it again to get it at least 30, 35 a year to get a fully guaranteed contract, something like that. For them to not fully buy into him yet, that tells you a lot about their ownership, what they think of him. And it changes from him being the darling of the franchise to now him being like kind of the outcast. And
Right.
now he sees why Richard acted the way he did, or the safety acted the way he did.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his
Earl
name.
Thomas,
Earl Thomas.
yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Earl acting the way he did. So I'm kind of torn by that, and especially if they're talking about like trading him. Yeah, they're out their mind.
Yeah, because he keep on performing, and he's been producing a lot for the past 4 years with his defense leaving.
With
So-
questionable weapons,
Right, exactly.
questionable offensive line,
Right.
and he hasn't stopped. They still
Right.
made the playoffs.
Playoffs, exactly.
It was 2 throws he made in the game to get them to the playoffs. He hangs that ball so high, and for it to just drop in Doug Baldwin's hands twice on the sideline, that's something that you can't teach. It's not many quarterbacks that can do that. Like, we have this big phenomenon with Patrick Mahomes, and not understanding that he's that same type of quarterback.
Yeah, and I think too, he's just a big leader for that team as well. He should be able to get his contract done. Like Pete Carroll is out of his mind for not trying to have that situation handled, because he brings a huge asset to that team, and guys look up to him as well. So I don't know what Pete Carroll's.
Because you got to think, after the Super Bowl, they lost to the Patriots.
Right.
That locker room split in half. It's the people that was with Russell and the people that was with Marshawn and the defense. The defense and Marshawn, like, used to scald him all the time because they felt like he was their golden child. Like, they tried to, like, keep him into a certain safe space. So now they understand. Now he has to look at it and understand what he's, like, everything that he was fighting against in the end, it came full circle on him. So now he's looking like, all right, y'all don't want to pay me, like, y'all got to this point. And that's basically his line in the sand. And if they don't get a contract done by then I hope he leaves or something.
Yeah, he need a bounce.
At least just sit out to show like it actually means something to him.
Right.
But it's a thing because if he sits out, he'll look bad in the media. And that's kind of what we talked about with Larry yesterday. Whenever he was talking about all the negatives you have on your record, they do that and they focus on those to drive your value down. So how does it look that my franchise quarterback doesn't want to go to OTAs or doesn't want to be in, you call it spring ball, but it's basically NFL offseason where they have mini camps.
Right.
And if the person, like you said, the staple of my franchise isn't there, that looks bad on him and it looks bad on me. But they have to understand solely the same way NFL players do. This is a business.
Right.
And if you don't want to buy into me, somebody else will.
Right.
You was talking about image, and you mentioned Will Greer off camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going into the season, I knew Will Greer was going to be good. He put West Virginia into a space of, ultimately, they was ranked top 10 before they lost to Texas and then turned around and lost to OU. Hold up. Sorry. But he was playing at a different level. He had an issue within his freshman and sophomore year. He got caught taking PEDs. So that's why he transferred out of West Virginia. So he had to rebuild his image. He put out this piece with him and his daughter saying she was the reason he plays for her and things like that. But he's not getting, I would say, the recognition he deserves. I feel like he produced more than quarterbacks like David Jones, the Missouri quarterback. I feel like out of anything, he should be the third quarterback on the list. But he's not. He's not getting Locke is his name, right?
Yeah.
So Drew Locke, yeah.
Yeah.
So quarterbacks like that, they're getting pushed up the board behind Haskins and Murray. And I feel like Greer should be the third name off the board. But it's not really happening like that. And then I've heard like reports that NFL teams like him more than NFL media does. And that's going back to what we talked about yesterday with Larry Johnson, is just the fact of it's a narrative they'll paint and they want you to believe this narrative and they want you to think like because we as media personalities don't like these players that the owners don't. And that's not the case with him. So that's just something I thought about. And it's been, especially with the draft coming up and understanding that if Kyler does go first, that the quarterbacks are going to be rushed off the board. And I think he's going to come faster than other quarterbacks that are coming out this draft. Pause.
And I think whoever does take him, he'll be a good quarterback for them. Honestly, he's underrated.
Especially if he
really
goes
underrated.
towards the end. Like, let's say he goes with Brady. He goes somewhere with Breeze. Places like those where he has time to sit and even learn more and grow. Because he's already older than the quarterbacks on the board. He's 23.
Exactly.
So he's already matured to his level. He's made his mistakes. He understands how to come back. He understands, obviously, what to do in the media to try to get himself painted better. But I think now if he sits on the bench, they quietly forget about everything he's done, and then he comes back and plays well, I think that'll help him
Right,
most.
because he could build his resume back up. I mean, his reputation back up by doing that. So
Yes.
we'll see how he do.
Yeah. Another person that's been tried to be bashed on by the media several times, but doesn't seem to elude that is Russell Westbrook. Obviously, he dropped 20 points, 20 rebounds, 20 assists.
21, I think.
Yeah.
21
It was
what?
assists.
21 assists.
Yeah, because I think the rebound was a 20.
20.
Well, we know what it is. Shout out
Yeah.
Justice.
Second player in NBA history, along with Jason Terry.
No,
Will Chamberlain.
Will Chamberlain.
Yeah,
my fault.
Jason
I
Terry
was
was.
thinking
Jason
It was
Terry.
actually. It was like
Go ahead.
really good that Jason Terry interviewed
Yes.
him.
Why was he there?
It because like if you know, you know.
Mhm.
Like if you know, you know. I'm not gonna say extra stuff, but if you know, you know. And just for that historical night that he had, like it's hard to average 20 points in the NBA. And now you add that with a double-double, that's even harder. But to average 20 and 20 in one night, that's legendary. And just the purpose behind it, who he did it for, So you have to respect him, man. I don't care what anybody else say about, Russell Westbrook stat padding and all that. Like, I don't believe about stat padding at all. Because it's like, if everyone could do it, it would be easy. And everybody can't. You got to have talent to do that.
Right.
So, shout out to Russell Westbrook and doing that for Nipsey Hussle, man. We respect you for real a lot. So, shout out to him.
It's definitely like something that means a lot to me. Obviously, love watching the tenacity that Westbrook plays with.
Yeah.
And for him to, like, as soon as he gets the rebound and he passes off half court, they call the timeout, and you could just see him just start yelling, just like, this for Nip,
Right.
this for Nip, this for Nip. And that's just something that definitely stuck out to me. Obviously, why I wore this shirt again.
Exactly.
With him wearing it in pregame and just him understanding the magnitude of this moment and not getting caught up in himself, him still thinking about Nip, because they did have a relationship. They did have a little bond with him being from LA. And you could see like we talked about it on Monday, the influence of rap and sports culture in general. But it's a certain, like, the demographic of kids that grew up in LA from, I would say, that's in the league now, and I was probably young anywhere from 2008 up until today. They have this type of, I would say, lineage with Nip. Like, he is a part of their grind. Like, that's why Isaiah Thomas acts the way he does. Kyle Kuzma has a TMC flag on his arm. Like, that's something that, like, his whole thing was about a marathon. And it's just correlated with sports. It's just understanding your journey. It has peaks and valleys, and you have to be able to take that on the chin. And you can see, like, Kawhi Leonard put RIP Nip on his shoes. He wore blue New Balances, and he wrote Nip on the end of his New Balances. Like, it's subtleties that everybody's paying their homage in their certain type of ways, and I love seeing that.
Right, exactly. And just to be the second player to do that in over 50 years.
And not even think about yourself. Like, the narrative of Russell Westbrook is me, me, me. Like, I only care about me. I only care about my stats. I'm only going to get these rebounds so it looks good on me.
Right.
And the first thing he just said this for Nip. Like, he didn't say thank God. Like, he was. That's how passionate he was about Nip. That's
you
how
could see it pre-game when he was walking in. Like, he had that mindset. He was already going to do it.
It was pre-game.
Right.
And then right before the game started, it's a video of him singing All My Life. Like, it's just, it all culminated into making a very special moment last night. So, shout out Russ.
Right, and shout out Nip too, all money in.
Third year averaging triple-double.
And it's like we bat an eye at it now. Like, it's nothing to us because he does it so much. But it's hard to understand because he's the only player since Oscar Robertson that did that. And you can't even see film with Oscar Robertson. Like, you have to, y'all know the little booth where you got to go sit there and watch film.
Right, the black and white
screen. Yes, you got to press the button so you can be in there watching film. So it's just, that's something that I think we sweep under the rug a lot of times. But he definitely needs more credit, and he doesn't get what he deserves.
Right, because he's still holding it down with all the players that left, with James Harden leaving, with Kevin Durant leaving, and he's still holding it down for OKC.
That makes me feel like they made the right decision as far as OKC and
keeping Westbrook.
Yeah, and being all behind him, because in markets like that, you have to find somebody that your fans can cling to.
Exactly.
And ultimately, everybody feels like they can cling to Russell just because he's going to be himself no matter what.
Yeah.
And you can't do nothing but respect that. You might not like him as a person, but you can respect that he's always going to be his genuine self with you.
Right. But his play on court, when it comes to
magnificent.
but when it comes to like playoffs and stuff like that, that he can
He's
always
dead
be
by then.
his worst enemy as well.
Yeah.
He's dead by then.
Yeah.
Like,
but now he has Paul George and he has
he knows how to he knows how to play it. See, and that's something we talked about last night at the panel. It was just about growth. You can't blame me. Like, my decisions I make now at 21, I probably wouldn't make these decisions at 14, 15. It's the same within the NBA career.
Exactly.
In Russell's first part of his career when he was with KD, he's with probably a top 5 scorer of all time. And all he wants to do is prove, I'm just as good as scoring at you.
Right, exactly.
That's a young mindset.
Right.
Now he's fine with himself. He's won his MVP. He's done things. He's been to the playoff multiple times.
Right.
So now it's all about winning.
Right.
But you have to see that I don't have to score 70 every game for me to be acclaimed the way I am. All I have to do is play my game, take it how it comes, and that's where it is. But he's at that point in his career now where he understands the flow of the game. He doesn't have to force it. He's not going to run himself in the ground. Yes, he averaged a triple-double this season as well, but he's not as dead
No.
as he looked the first season he averaged it.
Man.
Even last year, it was times in the playoffs he looked dead. Now he's fresher. He understands it's time now.
Right.
Right. But being an 8th seed, you still got, even the Nuggets are number 2 in the West, Warriors number 1, Rockets, obviously. He has to go through all of them.
That's their, but that was they're actually in a little slump right now.
Yeah.
So he needed to perform like this for this
Exactly.
game. And he said last night in the interview, just to get his team on the right accord and get them fixed.
Right.
So as long as he understands when he has, because that's what we had a gripe about him 2 weeks ago when they lost that game, and we felt like he didn't take over.
Right, to Toronto.
Yes.
Right.
So now I feel like he's getting back into his bag, but he also balanced it, understanding who he is now as a player and playing well with Paul George. That's why I said I just like him better with Paul George because of Russell specifically. It's not about the combo of him being Russell and KD, because like you said, he can get in his way at his own time. And even when he was by himself, he would get in his own way because he didn't trust the people around him. And think about it. If I'm a top 5, top 10 player in the NBA, I'm going to trust myself before I trust a role player.
Right.
Not in crucial moments.
Yeah.
It's all about, we all know at the end of the day, it's
Because you've been there before.
Yes.
You know the experience, right?
So
Right.
that's the stigma that he's trying to break.
All right. On Monday, we obviously had a dispute with one of our analysts about people who are not clutch and who is clutch.
Man, I'm not even worried
Well,
about him.
obviously,
He won't get back on the show. He keep talking like that.
two of the most clutch point guards in NBA are about to be free agents this year. Kyrie Walker. Kyrie
Kyrie Walker.
and Kemba Walker and Kyrie Irving.
It's okay, Davis. It's Spring Fest.
Yeah. Who do you think is a better investment coming after this year?
I'm taking Kemba.
Kemba?
I'm a UConn man though. Like, I remember in 2011 when he won the Maui Invitational.
Yep.
Then he wins the regular season Big Ten. Then he wins the Big Ten championship. Then he wins the national championship. And I remember this span. I called it after they won the Maui tournament. I said they're gonna win the national championship. Everybody just thought I was crazy. That was the year, obviously that's early 2000s. Early 2010s where Kentucky is loaded.
Yeah.
And all of that. So for him he's always been one of my favorite players. And he used the patented crossover. And Allen Iverson is my favorite player of all time. So I've always had this affinity for Kemba. So I would take him overall. He hasn't had the injuries Kyrie has.
No.
He doesn't have the offensive package that Kyrie does, but it balances out whenever you think about who's more dependable and who you can put in the season for 82 games and not have to worry that he's going to miss 30, 40, 50 games. So I'm taking Kemba in the long run.
I'm taking Kyrie just because, just what he did in Cleveland and winning the
From
championship.
Cincinnati.
Okay, but still, he's from he played for a Ohio team, so I gotta, represent them.
Y'all state is like this big.
Okay, it's actually bigger than that. But like to what I was saying, I'm just taking Kyrie, just like all the attributes he's had and just experience he had with going to the championship. And he's a dog. And don't get me wrong, Kemba, he's a dog as well. But I just think like Kyrie would have. I'm just going with Kyrie. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now I'm going with
Kyrie.
until Kemba goes on a better team.
Yeah.
And is actually put in a
You see
position to
him
win.
flourish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because right now he doesn't really have nobody. Nick Batum.
Do you feel like
Michael Gilchrist.
Do you feel like if he was on a better team, he'll make a big let's say him and LeBron play
Not
together?
as much.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Why?
Because he's always had to be the man in Charlotte. He's never had no help around him. Obviously he has Malik Monk, but even Malik Monk's not playing up to where he should be.
Where he got drafted.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
And I think Kyrie learning from LeBron helped him a lot as well, because he stated that in Boston, he didn't know how to be a leader until he got to Boston and seeing all the expectations he had to have and all the things he had to do. all the things he had to do.
Right.
So I just think like he'll just be a better investment and he'll bring more to the table.
I think he learned how to be a leader when he was in Cleveland.
I don't know, because
Underneath
he was
LeBron.
and that's the reason why he wanted to leave, because he was being fathered by
That's
LeBron,
on
by
me.
the media. The media was fathering him. Oh my gosh, you know, all the time. So that's why he had left. I think that's one of the reasons he had left, and he learned that in Boston, like he needs help. He needs players around him, But I think Boston they would do good when they hit the playoffs. So we'll see how it goes.
I don't know.
Why you say that?
I think they have too much drama and team.
I think it would click. I think it would click once it hits playoff.
It would only click if they had the pedigree, the being in this together. Kyrie's never been in that moment with this team. He's been in that moment with Cleveland.
Right.
And him and LeBron understood their roles. Like, LeBron gonna get you through the game. You just gotta get me through the end. And I don't think they have that same understanding right now.
Right.
But as far as for me taking Kemba, it's just strictly off of him just being able to be more dependable.
Yeah.
I definitely think he has the ability to take himself out of it and not be the main person. I think that's something that you don't, like, that's just not his bag just because you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But I feel like he ultimately has that because he's not somebody that's huge ego-driven.
Right.
My only issue was with him being a Jordan brand athlete, do you think that'll keep him in Charlotte?
Ooh, that's a good question.
No.
Are you risking your Jordan contract to leave Charlotte?
That's money.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah,
I could
that's
re-sign with
money.
somebody else.
I don't know about that one. We talking about it's 5 brands. You got Nike, Jordan, Adidas, Puma, and New Balance. Out of all of those, I'm gonna take a Jordan lifetime contract.
But are you
Every
worried
time.
about a Jordan contract or a championship?
But this lasts how long? Let's say even if he plays another 10 years, that's gonna end.
Right.
If you have a lifetime deal, it's never gonna end. Like Richard Hamilton, Ray Allen, they still get shoes every
Yeah.
month. You know what I'm saying? So it's just all about the ties you created. And maybe we don't know. Maybe that's why he's been in Charlotte so long is because of his relationship with Jordan. Because he didn't start off as a Jordan brand athlete. He was
Right.
like Adidas or something, but he finally grown into where he's at now, and Jordan gave him that blessing. So it's not cut and dry about him just leaving Charlotte just because they suck, because
Yeah.
it might not be an option.
If he leaves Charlotte, who do you think would pick him up? Who do you think would be a good
Somebody that
asset
needs
for
a
him?
guard. I told you, I feel like they had the talks about him going to LA. So something like that, somewhere where he's not the main focus. If I was Toronto and I got to keep Kawhi,
Yeah,
I'm cutting Kyle,
yeah,
and I'm taking Kimba over Kyle
Yeah.
yeah.
every day.
That'd be a dangerous
And twice on
combo.
Sunday.
That'd be a dangerous.
You know what I'm
combo.
saying?
Yeah.
Speaking of Ray Allen, I need a pair of player edition Jordan 11s, size 12.
I think he wear a 14.
God dang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he wear a 14.
But yeah, I need a size 12.
Which ones you want? You want the Heats or you want the Celtics?
Nah, Celtics.
The Celtics with
Nah,
the
I'm
green
also
jump
the-
man with the
yeah.
green bottom. Oh yeah,
Come on,
that's
man.
so nasty.
Those are classics.
Yes, sir.
But before you get to the NBA, you got to go out. One of the ways you could get to NBA.
Not the Luka way. We talking about
Yeah.
the NCAA.
NCAA, obviously, we picked our teams yesterday. Auburn plays Virginia, Texas Tech plays Michigan State. But Zion and RJ are the first freshman teammates to make the AP All-American since John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
Congratulations to them. Zion's still not my number 1 pick.
Who got Ja?
Ja Morant.
So do y'all
number
think?
1 pick.
Y'all think like I think if the Knicks, will you let Duke breathe? Anyways, do y'all think if the Knicks sign a point guard that they won't draft Ja? Well,
Oh, no, they're finna draft Zion.
okay.
So they're going to ruin his career. Or his early career. We all know how that goes.
Yeah.
Kristoff he
let
wants
him,
out.
Let him make his picks.
Nah, like picks for what?
For
the
the
oh yeah,
tournament.
now I'm going with Zion.
No.
No.
Zion has lost.
Yeah.
We're talking about Virginia, Texas Tech.
I'm going with Michigan State because I feel like they
They're
have.
gonna win it
The
all.
rest of the, rest of the
yeah,
way?
they've been to the Final Four 10 times. I mean, they've been to the Final Four 10 times. Virginia been to the Final Four 3 times. And Texas Tech and the other
Auburn
school.
is their first time.
Yeah, first time. So I feel like they're the more experienced team and they're really more built for this moment. And especially with Coach Izzo, he said this is the best mentally focused team he had. So being mentally focused, that goes in very well. Like they have a lot of heart. So if you have a lot of heart, you can go toe to toe with anybody, and they would want to win that whole thing. So I'm just going with them, and plus they're a senior-led team as well. And that point guard they have, he's been balling. So I'm going with Coach Izzo.
Texas Tech, the teams they're playing against, they've held them to 23.4 shooting percentage.
But this is Big Ten ball. You gotta think about
What
it.
does that mean?
Big 12.
Defense
I'm-
crosses all over.
Yeah,
I know, but I
best
feel like
defense
Coach
in the
Defense
Izzo-
is universal.
I understand that. I understand that. I just feel like Coach Izzo will have a good game plan going into that game if they play against him, that he can defeat that. Just like how he shut down All-American Zion Williams and the players that they had.
That's Zion, though.
But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, they had the best. That was the best talent Duke has ever had, and they didn't go to the Final Four.
I don't
I'm
know
not
if that's.
surprised about that.
I don't
though.
know if that's the best talent they
Yeah.
ever had.
Who's
You gotta
more
think,
talented
like,
at a whole
He's
Duke
probably
team?
the most athletic.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about them 5 players on the court.
Leitner teams.
Yeah.
Leitner had some balling teams. The Grant Hill, it was like 5 players that went to the league off his team. So we're gonna actually do research on that, and we
Yeah.
can talk about that Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually
we will.
something that
Yeah.
Yeah.
we could really look into.
Okay.
But I would say, yeah, Zion and RJ, they're probably a top 3 combo at Duke, but they're not the best ever, especially not when those teams have won championships. And like you said, we didn't even get to the Final Four.
Yeah.
I'm not taking them. I'm not going to
Not
be a
either.
prisoner in the moment. I'm
Who'd you pick for
sorry.
the Auburn Virginia game?
I'm gonna go with Auburn. I'm gonna go with you.
Auburn.
Yeah.
You're trying to tell folks, man.
I'm picking Tech to win it all.
Tech.
Why are
Yeah,
you picking Tech to win it all?
from Texas?
But when I
That's
say
it.
something, I'm from Cincinnati and I represent.
I mean,
the
y'all
Cincinnati
team just suck.
All right. Okay.
That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
No disrespect, y'all just suck.
We're just telling facts.
Yeah. Zion, there's news and reports. U.S. Senator wanted NCAA to pay players now.
As they should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so obviously they're working some of that out, trying to get a bill passed for that.
Okay, y'all know the crying meme? Okay, y'all remember last year when Northwestern lost the game in the tournament, right? It's a crying meme of the little boy. He can't believe that they lost.
Yeah.
He gets paid for that. He gets a contract. The AD, who's his grandfather for Northwestern, gets paid for that. But the players that played that game, that made the billions of dollars for the tournament in general, don't get a dime.
Right.
That's just another example.
And that's crazy. Coaches
The
get
shoe
bonuses. Yeah, go
that
ahead.
Zion blew out is getting sold for $250,000. CBS followed. They had a Zion camera just to follow Zion throughout
I
the
heard about that.
entire tournament. But they can't get a dime. Like, I don't understand this
Right.
concept. So for them trying to open up the ability to be paid, definitely so. Do they need to be? Is it going to be wage like gap? Yes, but that's because certain teams are going to be good and certain teams aren't. Like, that's how life works. Everything is not going to be free. Everybody is not going to get paid the same amount. Just
Right.
because, if I bring in $1 billion to a company and you two only bring in a total of $250 million, between both of y'all, we're not supposed to see the same money. That's not how life works. It's not supposed to be equal. And that's the problem with everything right now is everybody wants to be the same, and we're not the same. If I'm bringing Duke more exposure, more revenue than they've ever seen before,
Right.
I need to be compensated for that.
Exactly.
I'm not the same person who's the 15 guy on my bench who's just here to get his degree, leave here and probably be successful because he is linked to this basketball team, because he knows who I am. But he's never going to play NBA.
Right.
He's never going to be known. He just guards me and practice hard every day and gives me a good look so I can go play on Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays.
Right.
It's not the same, and it shouldn't be. Somebody like Zion who gets followed every day,
Right.
he needs at least $1 million from Duke, and that's nothing. The
Right.
coaches make $10 million a year.
Right. They get bonuses every single
Every
tournament
game they
Right.
win is
Yeah.
another. Oh, you get 150, you get 200,
Right.
you get 80. That's in their contracts. But my contract says I get a $40,000 degree,
Right.
and I'm probably going to be broke most of that time. I'm not probably going to be in class majority of the semester. My degree may or may not happen because I am focused on my professional aspirations.
Exactly.
And more than likely, you're not going to let me major in what I want to because it might take up too much of my time.
Right.
That's the ugly truth of this all. So some players don't get to major in what they want to because it takes up too much time.
Right. That's why I'm happy they had that one and done rule, because players can chase that bag and do what's best for them and their family. So.
I agree. Well, folks, that's all the time we got. Remember to go out to the baseball game today at 2 p.m. here. If you're not available to go to that game, make sure you go to the softball game. First game at 1, second game at 3. There's always something for you to do on campus. Always. I'm David Smith.
I'm Zach Collins.
And I'm David Killing.
We'll see y'all Friday.
I'll be the GOAT.